Hello guys, and welcome to something that's slightly different because I have joined the PGBL, the Pokemon Global Battle League, for the Season 3, which is a draft format where you draft 11 Pokemon and then you have 6v6 single battles against other coaches every week. And I will be the coach of the Copenhagen Sawsbucks. So I thought to make this video to just give you guys an overview of what I drafted for the league and why I picked what I picked. So I think we just jump right into it, because I went into it knowing what Mega I wanted, and it's probably also the most questionable choice, like when I took it, but we'll take that when we get there. So, my first overall pick was Landorus Farion. Yeah, I know. Everyone loves Landorus. No, but I chose Landorus because it has an immunity to both ground, obviously being a flying type, and electric. It has a super good attack, earthquake spam, when you have all the levitates and flying types away. Decent coverage opportunities, it has U-turn, and it has Intimidate, which is super good, lowers other people's attacks, it's nice, helps Pokemon that doesn't have a great physical defense. And that was a good reason why I chose it, it can also be defense. Yeah, it can also be defensive, obviously it gets Stealth Rocks, it gets Defog, U-turn around. And all in all, like, it's a very versatile Pokemon, and that's basically why I chose it. Like, a good typing of obviously 4 times weakness to ice, but otherwise I want that on water. So, a very versatile Pokemon that can do a lot of stuff, can fill a lot of roles. It can be Scarfed, it can be Banded, Assaultvest. It's one of my C move users, so we can get the Fly C off, so grass types won't be a problem. And the nice thing about Landorus is actually, like, you have 145 base attack, but also has 105 base special attack. So if the opportunity is there, it can also be mixed. It also learns Rock Polish, so the lackluster speed can also be made up from. So all in all, like, just a very versatile pick. Like, it can do a lot. And then we get into the second pick, which is Sylveon. Because obviously, one of the fairy type, Sylveon is a pretty nice it's pretty nice fairy type. Obviously getting Pixelate, spamming Hyper Voices, getting Wished, it can Baton Pass, it can Heal Bell. It can get coverage moves like Psy, Shock, Shadow Ball, Hidden Powers. It can also Yawn, it can Toxic. It can do a lot of things, and it's just super bulky. It has a high HP, so super high special defense, obviously. Very good special attack. Defense kind of lackluster, but together with Landorus with Intimidate, like, that kind of can get taken a bit care of. So, yeah. Give some cleric options, definitely, with Heal Bell for the team. And Wish Passing. Then we get into the Mega choice, because I want a Mega Aggron, and I know it's slightly early to pick it, but I just wanted this thing, and it was like, because there weren't a lot of Steel types that I felt super comfortable with, but Aggron was just, it's kind of nice, because it's a super bulky Pokemon. Super bulky, obviously defense 230, crazy. I just wanted something that I felt comfortable with, so I went for Aggron super early. The good thing about Aggron is obviously it's super bulky, has a nice attack stat, has a super great ability, because filter ability, like, it can actually take a decent amount, maybe not a decent amount, it might take one super effective special move, but a lot of defensive, like physical attacks, like, it can just eat them. It obviously is super reliable for Stealth Rocks, it gets super powerful Heavy Slam, it gets also Earthquake, it gets Rock Slide, Stone Edge. It can even be special if you don't want to run special. Aerial Ace, yeah. And it gets moves like, it gets Ice Punch, I think it also gets Fire Punch, maybe also Thunder Punch? I don't know, do you get Thunder Punch? You also get Thunder Punch. Like, it gets a lot of coverage, let's just say it like that. And it can also Roar, it can Toxic, it can Thunder Wave. Like, it can just do a lot of things. Obviously, like, the big weakness for Aggron is, of course, that it can't heal itself, so it's kind of relying on either getting Wish Passed or resting up. So also rest Sleep Talk. Maybe. Who knows? But yeah, that was Aggron. So my fourth pick, I had actually really wanted Jolteon, just to get, like, a very high speed, because right now the Pokemon that I have, they're slow, except for Landorus, but Landorus is not fast either. But it got taken, so was the second best choice. Galvantula. 108 base speed is nice. Gets Sticky Whip. Also has a decent special attack. Hits reliable with thunder for most part. We are not missing any thunders. I can already feel it. Gets bug buzz, obviously energy ball, again hidden powers. Like, doesn't have the best coverage, but it gets some. And obviously sticky webs and can set up substitutes, fast vol switch, obviously. So yeah, it's just like, it's a fast electric type with some nice small niche moves and just sticky webs. And then into the 5th, it must be the 5th pick. I went with Blastoise. Because I want a bulky water type, and I wanted a rapid spinner because if I'm setting up both rocks and webs, I don't want to use defog necessarily because that would kind of, like, that would screw it all over. So I was looking, and Blastoise looks super nice. It also gives a Scald user, an Ice Beam too. It gets Mirror Coat, Toxic. It can refresh if need be. And also, it's not, obviously, it doesn't hit super hard, but if you invest and throw a Hydro Pump on it, like, if it hits super effective, like, things are dying, basically. And it's obviously, like, it has a nice bulk. It has a very nice bulk. So that was why I chose that one. Next is Rotom Heat, because a thing that I was still lacking was a fire type. Of course, the electricity is slightly redundant, but a super reliable fire type. Also gives another ground immunity, not that it's super necessary for the team at this point, but it was still super nice to get it. And only has 2 weaknesses, has some nice bulk, of course. HP not great, but the defense, special defense is super great. His decently hard, has an alright speed to where you can Scarf Trick it, or you can just run that bulky thing. Also gives the opportunity to Will-O-Wisp. And it's also, of course, it's a defog user. Yes. Then we go into Lycanroc Dusk. And also again, because looking at the team, we have one thing that breaks at 100 speed, and that's of course Galvantula. But the thing about Galvantula was that I didn't want it to be forced to run sticky webs every week. I would also just like it to be just an attacker, a fast attacker. So I was looking at kind of getting some priority in, and I fell over Lycanroc Dusk. And the good thing about it is, of course, you get a Scalor. That's super nice. You get Tough Claws boosted, Drill Run too. And obviously Stone Edge, you get some small coverage moves, like you get Crunch and you get the Fangs, I think. Don't know if you get a lot besides that. Brick Break? You get Brick Break. But yeah. So that was kind of to get some priority in. And just get a fast rock type, because fast rocks is something that there really isn't a lot of in this format, so it was kind of, it's like a bit niche. It won't probably be as good every week, but against like some matchup where you have a lot of flying types or box types or something, like a Mega Beedrill doesn't like a second work. So that's something where it can kind of maybe shine a bit and just give some general speed. And then we get into Pangoro. I didn't have a fighting type. I didn't have a dark type. And I was looking at this panda, and you know, it's not because its defensive stats shine, but it has decent HP and it has a super good attack. And obviously, like, it gets 3 super useful abilities depending on what happens, like Iron Fist, Mold Breaker, and Scrappy. So you can hit Ghost Eyes with Drain Punch, could be nice. Of course it's low, but it also gets the opportunity to do Parting Shot. And I think the Pangoro under either Trick Room or Sticky Webs, I guess you'll be able to put up a lot of work, because it has a lot of coverage. Like, so it has its fighting against Dark, but it can also learn Gong Shot, it can learn Dragon Claw, Earthquake, Stone Edge, it gets all the punches, I think. See Ice Punch? Yeah, all the punches. Even gets Psychic, it gets Send Headbutt. So it gets a lot of coverage, and it's just super hard hitting. And of course it has a 4 times weakness to Fairy, but we also kind of have, especially Aggron, that can hit Ferris pretty hard. And then I didn't have a Psychic type, and I had been looking, because I don't have a Dragon type either, at Latios, because it was actually there like around the middle of the draft, but it got taken. So it was kind of like, I need something, and then I was looking at what there was available, and I fell over Reuniclus, because obviously, like, Reuniclus, it hits like a truck. If Magic Guard Lifeorb and 125 special attack, it's going to hurt something. Doesn't have the best coverage, but it has decent, like Shadow Ball, Psychic, Psy Shock, Energy Ball. Did I say Focus Blast? I don't know if I said Focus Blast. Focus Blast. I don't know if it gets any bug moves. It gets Thunder. That's not nice. Grass Knot. Doesn't matter when you have the other one. But obviously, you do that. It can also recover itself. It can Call Mind. It can Acid Armor. And most importantly, it can also Trick Room. And I need to cough, so give me a minute. All good now. So I can do that. And obviously, like, abilities Magic Guard. Super nice, can be statused. Overcone, again, nice against spore users. And Regenerated heals stuff up if you run a more bulky set. So yeah, and getting Trick Room, like, again, we have Pangoro, we have Sylveon, we have Agron, we have these very slow Pokemon that can either be boosted by then Sticky Webs from Galvantula or Trick Room from Reuniclus. And Reuniclus, of course, itself, late game, if it gets up a Trick Room, like, it's going to wreak havoc, basically. Then we go into the last two things. And the problem was, I needed a Dragon type. And I was looking, because I had a pick left in Tier 5 and in Tier 1. And there weren't any dragons in Tier 5 that tickled my fancy. Like, there was a Lonely Exeggutor, or Altaria, or Drampa. Drampa could have been nice, but it was just too slow. Because again, the speed, I only had 2 that was over 100, so I kind of wanted a Pokemon that was faster. And I also wanted a more reliable Fire Stab than Overheat, because obviously Overheat lowers special attack, then Rotom can't do anything. So I ended up going with Pyro. Hits 106 base speed, can get Flame Charge if necessary. Obviously gets Fire Blast, Flamethrower, and it also gets reliable Hyper Voice spam. Also learns things like Dark Pulse. Does it learn anything for Dark Pulse? I don't know. Like, it doesn't have the greatest coverage. It gets Solar Beam. Physical Wild Charge. Woohoo! No, but like, it's pretty one-sided in what it does, but I think it can do it decently well. Like, it can hit very hard, especially if you get into a case where it doesn't get outsped. Then, especially then you can expect to give it life up, but then it begins to really hurt. So yeah, that's Pyro. And then we're going to the last one, which I ended up taking Garchomp. And I was so in between picking Garchomp and Salamence, and I'm still not sure that I took the right one. Because the problem was that those were the 2 dragons that were left in Tier 1. And obviously they both have a 4x weakness to Ice. They share with Landorus. And that's also the annoying thing, because both have redundant typing with Landorus, because Garchomp has the ground, Salamence has the flying. Obviously Salamence would have been able to set up and Moxie Sweep. That could have been super cool. But why I ended up picking Garchomp was obviously you get the slightly higher base speed from the start with the 102 instead of just 100. And then the other thing was that Landorus is all ready for flying, is relying on Fly. And Salamence would do the same thing, so I thought that I wanted something that could use both of its steps. So therefore, took Garchomp. You can also set up Soul Stances, that's super nice. Obviously gets Poison Jab, so we can hit Fairies. Dragon Ground, pretty nice, all in itself, and doesn't have a ton of weaknesses, and also gives a rock resistance, obviously. So, yeah, that was the draft. I know, obviously, the team is not perfect. Like, we have 2 huge weaknesses to Ice. Quite a few weaknesses to Water, not the best resistances. But all in all, like, I think it's going to be fun. Like, obviously, I haven't been in a draft league before. You can count on one hand how many 6v6 battles I've ever had. So, honestly, I'm taking it as a learning experience. Like, I know it's not going to be perfect, but if just we can not get swept every week, then it's been a success. But I'm super excited to get on with this. Battles will begin Sunday next week. Will be the first one. So, yeah. Also, yeah. So, thank you guys for watching. And I hope I'll see you on Sunday for the first battle. There will be videos before that. But I hope I'll see you there too. And, yeah, keep it cool.